During the COVID, that Cuomo, something is going on between the New York State Governor's office and the MT and the FBI. From Cuomo to now this Oko, they said our own son works for the FBI. During the COVID, they abruptly, started chasing us homeless out of the train station. So during that COVID, the COVID that just started to 2020, they almost killed me in the station during the COVID. They are killing people, So I came on the hour train from Brooklyn, and also the police surrounded me here. Said, get out of here, get out of here. And like they were trying to kill me, so I came outside. As soon as I came outside, it was cold. I paid myself and everything. And a guy came behind me and set me on fire. They were still building this building then. They had a scaffold there. And the guy set me on fire here in 2020. And I felt the burning. And they were trying to kill me during that COVID. They said so the MTA were saying homeless people were bringing COVID. And I was one of the people they tried to kill. Then after they locked up all the bathrooms, and they had a guy take me home into the Bronx and raped me and said he wants to get married. And I told him no. Yeah, he took me home to use the bathroom. And that's why, because I couldn't find a bathroom. And I was complaining in the Bronx train station, Yankee Stadium. They lock up all the bathrooms. I can't find a bathroom. And the police won't let me use the bathroom in the train station. And this guy came so I could come to his house to use the bathroom only. That was it, so it doesn't mind me coming there to use the bathroom. And then when I got there, I said it's okay, I could stay with him. But he wants to get married. I said no, I'm not looking to get married. And he'll rape me and beat me and kick me out. And I called the police. While I was still in his house, after he beat me and raped me, and the police wouldn't help me either. They saw the blood on my head and stuff. They took a picture. So now they have a black American woman that goes to the bathroom with me. And she looks like my mother's sister, Tutu. I remember my mother said that Tutu is not here in America. She lives in Long Island. She has a green card also. So the immigration must have found out Tutu's picture. As soon as my mother's parents killed my mother in 2015, those were born in America. My mother said one of them was into drugs, Bolanley, and the other one was into spending money lavishly, traveling to foreign countries, Florida. So my mother had a heart problem. So my mother said that those dogs were trying to scare my mother to death. The Florida put my mother in the backseat of a car in Pennsylvania. Because after the police took me to my mother's home on Staten Island and killed my friend, I was helping my mother with her court papers to sue the NYPD. My mother went to Pennsylvania to stay with her daughters. And that daughter, Flora, would put my mother in the backseat of a car and go hit somebody's house. They have to call the ambulance and everything. And my mother said that Flora did that intentionally. But my mother said she didn't understand why that Flora was trying to scare her to death. And she was saying she suspected a drug inheritance scam type of thing. They're trying to kill her and get the police to pay them money, saying the homelessness situation caused my mother to die of heart disease that she already had, because my mother had heart disease at that time. Then my mother left that Flora's house to go stay with Bolanley. They said that Bolanley also would be putting drugs in my mother's food to get my mother to die, like current-free fluid. So my mother started having heart attack symptoms anytime that Bolanley gave her food. So my mother fled to New York and went to Bellevue Hospital. And while she was there, she didn't tell the daughters what hospital she was in New York. She said the daughters came to the hospital and was trolling my mother to the hospital to lock her up. They were still trying to scare my mother to death. So they told my mother, the hospital, to lock my mother up in the psych ward. So my mother said they were reading the lawsuit papers I filed on behalf of my mother. And in that paper I said, when the police came to tow me and my mother out of our home on Staten Island, my mother didn't want to leave, and the police said she doesn't leave, they will frame her as crazy and have her removed as a crazy person and go and lock her up in the psych ward. And so when my mother heard that, it caused her to be so scared and she almost had a heart attack. So I didn't read what I wrote. And honestly, they were reading my court papers from their home on Staten Island, from their home in Pennsylvania, and decided to reenact that by coming to New York to scare my mother in the hospital. Misleading the hospital to believe that my mother was crazy. And even though my mother wasn't crazy, she was alive and she passed the mental health test, the hospital Bellevue decided to join in, and lock her up in the psych ward regardless. So that's when my mother panicked and died. They said, there's something called broken heart syndrome that people would die through. People generally would die, especially if they have a heart problem. If you scare them, if you scare them. A lot of people die watching soccer matches, World Cup matches. They have a heart problem. And, just the thrill, the excitement, they'll die, So that got my mother, said. And the daughter, Bolanley, said she doesn't want a autopsy. I told the hospital I want an autopsy, and they declined. So the daughter Bolanley said no autopsy. So the FBI and the police are covering up stuff. So now they're bringing a black American woman to come to the bathroom with me, and she'll be arrested. So go back to your country. I will burst the door open on you. I don't want you in my country. In America. And she looks like my mother's daughter. She looks like my mother's sister too, who was also in America. My mother said, "Dad's sister." I heard that that sister finally got it. My mother's sister finally got a green card and came to America, and she's not living in Long Island. But my mother's family is not really close to me. My mother was trying to get our family to help me and her, and she wouldn't help us. So my mother was like, well, my mother was homeless with me. So my mother was like, I shouldn't even contact any of her family members. If she ever dies, I should just keep contacting strangers. My father has family all over the world. He's not dead also. But I don't trust my father's family because my father was abusive to me. So in case I'm killed, only strangers that are civil activists like me can administer my estate and get justice for me and my late mother and give the rest of any of my asset out to charity. So this FBI and MTA and the police are trying to kill 4 people. There's even Trump said if you arrested homeless people all over America, lock us up in psychiatric hospital, or just arrest us. He doesn't want to see homeless people anymore on the street. So it turns to an elitist society. I love the blacks are more disproportionately homeless and poor. So they've been trying to kill me just for the fun of it. And that woman, So while I was using the bathroom today downstairs, I saw this splattered clothing all around the bathroom floor. So and that woman that looks like my mother's sister of Chuchu always comes inside the bathroom with me. She was already waiting for me outside the bathroom. She stood where I would exit the train. I got on the train from J Street in Brooklyn. So the FBI must have been watching my surveillance and positioned her near where I would exit the train from. And as soon as I exited the train, came upstairs, I saw her. And when I went to the bathroom, they left clothes splattered all over the floor. So they were just trying to get me angry so the police would come. And the police would claim they didn't know who splattered the clothes all over the floor. And they thought I was crazy, I was bugging out. Because they always try to get me angry. So the FBI, even every when he was trying to help me, I was on FBI surveillance then because when my mother brought me in 2000 to America, the immigration arrested me at the airport lied. I didn't have a visa. Somebody told me that it may have been due to the fact that I was wearing a tracksuit. I wore a tracksuit from Nigeria here. They said back then the police would be arresting blacks. So people that wear tracksuits are usually drug dealers. So they racially profiled me and lied in my immigration papers that I didn't have a visa when I did have a visa and put me in deportation proceedings. And 8 years my case was in court. My mother, I started having heart problems while my case was in court. So it's like they just want to kill and kill and kill and kill. So FIFA is not set to bring the World Cup here. And the last time that lady came to the bathroom to bottom, said she was going to burst the bathroom door open. So I came outside the bathroom and I pleaded to the fucking booth clerk to call the police, and they wouldn't call the police. I think it's from Bangladesh. So I saw that there was a poster with the email of the station manager. So I recorded that poster, but my camera didn't pick up the email part real good. So I came outside here at the corner. I was trying to email the station manager, but the video I recorded downstairs didn't show the email address real good. So I Google searched email address for this station manager here, 71st Avenue. No Google result will show it. So today I tried to get the email at the poster. They already moved the poster. So apparently the FBI has been putting on surveillance since I had an immigration case in 2025 years now. And I now have my green card, but they still put me on surveillance. And so apparently I'm trying to email the station manager. So they have to remove the poster. So a lot of people have been alleging that the MTA is following people around. Poor people, even they said this Jordan Neely, the way he was killed, they said he might be getting followed around. He was a black American homeless, and he was complaining on the train that his life is, he's facing severe hardship. His own mother was killed also. So a white guy snuck behind him and choked him. That said he was disturbing the peace. So I've been getting followed. They locked me up in the psychiatric hospital in 2019. At that time they brought a program to be locking up homeless in the psychiatric hospital. And the framework was crazy. Just after my mother's daughter stripped my mother up as crazy in 2015, I locked her up also. So, they just killed the black people for fun, and the black American lawyers, a lot of lawyers, wouldn't help me either. So some black Americans who like Africans say we sold their ancestors to slavery and they want us to suffer also. So my friend in Uganda was able to get support but nobody will let me testify for him. They shut me out of the whole process. So his killer walked away free, but his family got money instead. So they're killing blacks and getting away with it. So this was going on.